Beautiful people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. I am AA, and that's my name, you know, initials of my name, AA. Welcome to my channel. I want you to know that this channel is for us to discuss issues of life that addresses a lot of problems we go through. And on this channel, people are allowed to contribute in the comment section to share their experience, their ideas, and most importantly, also for us to share the lessons learned from our discussions. So it's actually a channel that's going to bring us all together to discuss. So today we're going to be discussing issues of couples who decide to travel abroad for greener pasture, from where probably they are struggling to a better place where they think or desire to go to, where they think things are going to get better or desire to go to for greatness, you know, but eventually they go their separate ways, because of various issues that they experienced over there. So we're going to be discussing this, and we'll extray the causes of the issues. We'll also look at how it can be prevented, and or better still, how it can be planned for at the earliest time before people decide to, you take the decision of moving abroad. But let me remind you, please, I'm appealing to you to please like and share the content of this page. It's going to be a form of encouragement for me to continue doing more, because we'll extract other areas of life as we go on this channel. Thank you very much and welcome. So, like I said, a lot of couples thought that moving abroad will, make them better, make them happy, and all stuff like that. But the question is, why do people eventually go their different ways? I've had friends gone through this. I've had family members gone through it. And I've heard people's stories as well, which is very very important for us to discuss today. Now, now let me take it one after the other. Moving abroad can be something that would make your dream come true simply because of the probably the exchange rate. I'm going to use Africans as examples. Africans desire to move from one location to another, especially from their country to places around the world that they deemed developed, and where they feel that the exchange rate is better than theirs, and they can get more value for themselves. In terms of financial compensation, in terms of better education, quality lifestyle, and better environment for their children to thrive. You know, there are a lot of reasons why people decide to move abroad, and sometimes it comes naturally. Because some people are actually got job offers, or they work in Africa, and the opportunity for their organization, which is a global organization, to move them abroad comes up, and they decide to take that opportunity to the next level. So, usually from Africa, which is the focal point of what I'm going to be discussing today, a lot of people desire to japa. We use japa as the word. It's a Yoruba word, and it means to move permanently or move to another location. That's just the meaning. So now, people really want to do that, but you find out that quite a lot of time, this relationship are tested. I mean, the couples are tested, you know, by various circumstances when they get to those locations, because sometimes they never expected some of the things they experience over there. Now, let me break it down one after the other. Sometimes when you get abroad, when you move abroad, the first few months can be very interesting. You have moved to a new environment. You can see that things are working. Probably there's electricity. You can see that, yes, I can actually work and get paid for the job I do. I'm talking about couples now. And then not just that alone, the exchange rate may be better. For an example, somebody moves from Nigeria to say the United States, Canada, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and so many other parts of Europe, and they now see that, look, as I am there now, the exchange rate is better. I can actually save some little amount of money and then send it back home for people to, use it to do one or two things. So these are some of the things that excite new couples that move abroad with their children, and they see it as an opportunity. But quite a lot of things happen when you move to a new environment. For an example, you may have one of the couples doing well. One of the couples can quickly adapt to the situation over there. Some people are, very they are quick learners. They are very fast with meeting up with other people, that making friends. They understand how to quickly, blend into the environment, so to say. And the other couple, it could be that the wife is very jovial, she knows how to, make new friends and stuff like that. And the husband is reserved, you know, we are different from each other, and then eventually you start seeing the issues of one person, moving at a faster rate than the other one. This could lead to some issues if it is not properly managed between the couples, because one may be isolated, feeling isolated, the other one is enjoying the situation almost immediately, the maybe a few months after they got there. So these are some of the things. Then the second thing could also be power imbalance. When I say power imbalance, it could be that, for an example, the lady may have experience in healthcare service delivery, and she quickly got herself into the system, and the guy is trying to balance up. Or better still, the lady was employed directly. I have that exact example. The lady was employed directly from an African country. She moved, with the family as a whole, and then this led to the fact that, right from day one, before she even moved, she has a job waiting for her in this country, and the guy is, trying to settle in, trying to look for what to do to survive, to support the family. The power imbalance is there, because usually in Africa, men take care of their family members. They are usually breadwinners, and it's an ego thing, for most men, even around the world, you know. But when I say ego thing, I'm not saying that the lady shouldn't thrive or shouldn't do well. But the fact remains that, the men usually are the breadwinners. And when it is not like that, when the power shift occurs over there, it could lead to some issues. And that's why some things should have been done before couples decide to move abroad. Because if you don't do all of those things, and you don't expect the shocks, the cultural shock, the changes, and all of these various issues that could affect their balances over there, then it could lead to a lot of issues. And this is why you have situations where couples go their different ways because they cannot manage the situation and all that. And that one is financial pressure. It could be that one of the partners is actually bringing uh, funds to the table to maintain the various uh, expenses, the financial obligation of the family, while the other one is just struggling to meet up. And when there's no money, the same financial stress is actually almost equal to relationship strain. Financial stress is equal to almost equal to relationship strain. I repeat, because money does a lot of things. It keeps you balanced in those kind of environments where things are very done as very fast. You have to pay for your gas, you have to pay for your electricity. Sometimes you have to pay for it, and some other expenses. Unlike Africa, where you can have your well. Now let me break it down. In Africa, you can actually dig your well, have your water. You can actually create your own electricity through solar panels or inverters and stuff like that. You can do a lot of things outside, the provision of the services government give to their citizens. But over there, it's structured. So because it's structured, you have to really spend the money to make sure that things go on well. So if there's financial strain, then it's a major issue. Then another thing is that based on what I've discussed, you can also have um, reversed role, and reversed role is actually addressing the issue of breadwinner, role in the family. Usually, the guy, like I said earlier, the guy is the breadwinner, but in a situation where the lady is also the lady have the opportunity to get a better offer in other sectors around in the country, that's abroad. Definitely you see that somehow she could be the breadwinner if the guy is struggling, and it could also be a mental imbalance for the guy, because usually couples love to contribute as much as they can to the development of the family, to the well-being of the family, to the financial balance of the family, and especially if the guy is the one finding it difficult to balance up, then it becomes a very big issue, for the mind, and it could lead to anger, it could lead to stressful life, depression, and so many other things. So these are some of the issues why couples sometimes also go through this. Then people also may not expect some cultural shock. You get to an environment where you think, oh yes, a lot of things are going to happen positively based on information heard before the couples decided to move abroad. And then when they now get there, they now discover that look, it's not exactly what they heard, probably maybe in, in YouTube videos or some of the researches done on Google and so many other information over there. In fact, some of them may even put calls across to family and friends over there, and they don't really get the picture. You know, living abroad is quite different from taking an holiday period abroad, because the holiday period could be a 2 week holiday period or a month and stuff like that, but you don't get to see everything. As you live in an environment, you get to understand the system, you get to understand the issues, you get to understand how that it affects you. People who take money from, say, Africa, buy tickets and get their visas for holidays, go to Disneyland, enjoy themselves, you know, is a completely different situation from people who live there, who get paid there, whose what's it called, pay is taxed, who have to pay for different services, and they understand what's it called, the how it affects them, where it pinches, you know. All of those things are things you may not expect as couples before moving abroad. So these are part of the reasons why some things should have been done before moving abroad. And I'm going to be touching on those things. So another thing is, the issue of stigma. When I say stigma, I've had situations, even myself, I've had situations where I went to a cinema in the United States of America. Precisely, I think it was in Dallas, and I went to work to see a new movie. And the role I sat on, I also saw some people of color there, and some of them stood up, some of them were very friendly, and others. So if you don't have a very strong mind, it could be a kind of shock to the person. Some people see it as discrimination, some people see it as racism and all that. So you cannot really control people's attitude 100%. You have very good people, very good people abroad. You also have some people with questionable character. So you have to make up your mind to be able to deal with those issues. So sometimes when you're in those kind of environments, some people may find it very difficult to adapt properly. And then the harsh truth, is also that sometimes when couples get abroad, they get involved in some things unexpected. It could be infidelity, it could come from the wife, it could come from the husband, and they may be seeing somebody else abroad and stuff like that, and you discover that all of these things could lead to separation, a lot of issues, imbalances, depression, anxiety, anger, And sometimes some people even go the way of drug, and then a good life from Africa, where couples love each other, where they were managing themselves, but believe that they could move abroad and then get prosperity as desired. That good life could turn to be very sore, very destructive. It could affect the children's mental balance. It could affect the children's future. And then you see issues of single parent taking care of the children, or better still, you see both of them, contributing to the care of the children. But in actual fact, the joy and love of the family isn't there. So these are some of the issues couples experience when they travel abroad for greener pasture. So now it is now very important to look at issues. I mean, sorry, the solutions. How can this be done? And I'm going to use myself as an example. That look, if I want to move abroad, some of those things I would want to do before I move abroad. Quite a lot of people just get information on the internet, and social media and stuff like that. But some of them just talk to few friends abroad. But living there, like I said, is completely different. You have to experience it before you understand it. Number one has to, at the point of considering the movement of couples abroad, one has to sit down. The two partners should sit down and discuss. They have to discuss all the issues. What if we get there? Then we face some financial issues. What do we do? What if we get there? We what's it called? We we look at it that our goals are set out, but we are not achieving it within a set timeline. What are we going to do? Can we manage together? What if one of the couples have to work overnight and the other work during the day? Somebody has to take care of the children. Let me even paint it properly. If the woman has to go all out at night, maybe she's a caregiver, or better still, she works as a nurse, for an example, abroad, and she has to do it overnight. The husband has to, take care of the family during the day because she has to get enough rest for her to continue her shift and all of those things. The husband has to do some domestic chores at home to ensure that things are properly running well, which is not the same situation back in Africa where you have some kind of backup, some kind of assistance from people, some kind of opportunity to have domestic help, which is not really that expensive. They can help the woman cook before she comes back from work. That's back in Africa. They can also do laundry. They can also watch over the children. But in the situation where they live abroad, it's expensive to get all of those things done. So couples decide to do it themselves. But if it falls on the laps of the the man of the house, is the man willing to do that? Is the man willing to allow the wife spend a couple of hours, hours overnight working somewhere, consistently for a period of time? Probably because that's how they are going to survive for a while. Will he allow that? Is he going to be happy with that? All of these things have to be discussed. And if he has to be the guy as well, can the woman manage the situation? Sometimes couples have things on their minds, but they don't get to sit down to discuss these issues like we have it in Africa, where both the husband and wife are lucky enough to go to work in the morning and then come back later in the day. Probably the woman is back before 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. On daily basis, and the guy may be late in the night or early part of the night. But eventually, they are able to sleep on the same bed every day and discuss the issues they went through for the day. But when you are abroad and you're trying to survive, and the timeline of both partners differs when it comes to working in different places, are they going to be able to manage the issues they are facing at that time, especially because you don't have the support system, you don't have your sister, your brother coming around over and over, whereby you can, discuss with them and stuff like that, or better still, just have them around and manage the situation. Unlike for a situation where the woman and the man depends on themselves, their happiness have to match. If they have issues or one of them is going through one or two things, the other one would help out. I'm talking about people living abroad and will help out to douse the tension and all that. So these are areas to be discussed before they move abroad, so that people's mind will be prepared. Each of the couple will prepare their minds that look, this is probably what we may face, and then how do we navigate it? If I face it, I already knew that I could face it before I got abroad. And how do I navigate it? How do I ensure that I create time out to listen to my wife, or the woman creates time out to also discuss with the husband on issues so that things can be balanced. Then communication is extremely important. Sometimes because of what one of the couples had faced during the day, maybe at work or some kind of discrimination in the environment and some kind of unhappy event, making them very sad and feeling somehow, during the day. That can lead to transfer of aggression to the other partner, which is not a fantastic thing to do. So, cultivating the habit of proper communication to each other is extremely important. Adequate and fantastic respect for each other will be very, very nice for the survival of the couple. They have to see themselves as one unit that that has to survive by all means. It's just going to be a matter of time. Probably most likely people get better if they can actually weather the storm at that period. Then they get better. Most likely they get better jobs that they could do during the day, and then they start getting to the level they were before they moved abroad. When I say they were, I mean in terms of simplicity of life. Because they are now better. That they change jobs to their desired areas of expertise and stuff like that. They've even upskilled, to get better offers, better pay, and life start becoming interesting. So it is very, very important to communicate properly. Then joint decision is also very, very important. A going this way, B going that way isn't the best. What exactly are we going to do this month? Yes, you have made money, I've made money. What are we going to do? What do we need to buy? What do we need to take care of? What are the things we need to achieve? All of those things must be discussed. So proper discussion has to be on and on. And then it is not even a bad thing to have therapy. If there are issues, couples could decide to go for therapy, virtual therapy, or physical therapy, to discuss the issues so that they can resolve some of the major issues they're having. When we say couples, definitely children it's desired to have children in marriages. So you have children also involved. So it's not just the couple, it's not just the woman and the man. Children are also very important to be considered. So for every action taken, the wife and the husband must also consider their children. That is why it is important to keep the family healthy and one as much as it can be done. So I will also say that couples should set a routine that helps them to create a sense of home. You have to leave time out. Even back in Africa, a lot of people work 24/7. They chase a lot. They chase money, every now and then. Everywhere around the world, people want to make money. Yes, but you have to, as much as possible, also know that work-life balance is very, very important in the sense that you create time for the family. So when they move abroad like that, couples are expected to try and create time for each other and the family. You have to take yourself out, you have to take the children out, and engage in some kind of activities that can bring the family together. Even husband and wife can also look at other areas of engagement, such as probably church services. They could attend the mosque together. They could also get involved in some cultural activities, in you know, with people from their country and stuff like that. Things that can actually be different from you working all day, chasing money 247, not looking after each other, or not even paying attention to the activities of the children. So it is very important to be able to do this. And then, like they used to say, and the way I also see, moving abroad doesn't have to break your relationship. Even anywhere, even if you're in your country, we have cases of divorce here and there. People go their different ways and other for even simple issues, family pressure, some little issues, infidelity and all that. So don't talk of moving abroad where you have your relationship well tested all round, because it's a new environment entirely. So if pre moving abroad, a lot of things can be discussed, and the expectations are discussed. Or better still, if one is able to look at it that, okay, this is my goal for this period. If it doesn't match it, this is plan B. There should be plan A, plan B, and plan C, so that you are not totally disappointed. You know that, yes, if I don't meet it up here, I can meet it up on the next level, which is plan B. And if it doesn't match it, then plan C can come in. If couples can come with that or have that in place, definitely they are likely to weather the storm. They are likely to get to the next level, and a lot of things will come out of it. I've seen couples that moved to Canada. In fact, tons of couples that moved to Canada. But I'm going to make example of one of the couples I used to know. They moved abroad, well read from Nigeria. The husband is a banker, and the lady is also an accountant. That's the wife. So when they got there, they had to start from the beginning. The wife had to start from a restaurant. She was washing dishes. She was washing plates. Sorry, I beg your pardon. She was actually doing that, and then while she was doing that, the husband was also working with an organization who owns a warehouse. They started from almost the bottom level, and eventually they grew to the point where the lady became a nurse, and the husband eventually became a data analyst. Over the upskilled, and then things started getting where they bought themselves a house and all that. But in all of these beautiful stories, and how sweet it sounded, there's tons of issues they had to manage. There are tons of issues they had to make sure that didn't break up their relationship, their marriage, and eventually they became better and good to live in the country. They even came back home to build a fantastic house, because at that time they were better financially, what they couldn't do before they moved abroad. So now I'm going to ask us some questions. In the comment section, I would like situations where we can also relate to this. If you have moved abroad before and you have experience, nasty experience or fantastic experience, you can share with us, and then also give us your own views of some of the issues that I didn't mention, or some of the issues I mentioned that I needed that is in another dimension. One issue could lead to other issues, and then just a single issue could have different dimensions with different couples. So it will be appreciated in the comment section if you can do that. So, and then if you move abroad before, let us know some of those things we have not really looked at in this video. And if you have not moved abroad, what do you think you do in addition to what I've said? Based on the opportunity available, and based on the fact that you don't want your marriage to crash. So this is going to be appreciated in the comment section, and we hope that this is going to really give us a lot of lessons for us to learn. It is very, very important we begin to talk. Sometimes talking out or speaking out or commenting stuff like that, listening to videos where you can contribute is a therapy in itself, because you can actually say your mind. You can actually also tell people what they should learn so that they don't get into pitfalls that will eventually become a sad one for them. You know, can you please share your worries or stories in the comment section, like I said? And don't forget, please, to subscribe, to like my channel, as I come up with different life issues and areas of improvement for people, around the world. We are human beings. It is, but we are bound to go through issues, and it is not the end of our life. All we need to do is, when we talk about it and when we share ideas, when others also bring up their suggestions and knowledge, yes, we take a cue from it, we learn a lot from it, and then we could correct our mistakes, or better still, before it is done, we have a plan in place to follow and to ensure that things don't get messy for us as we try to better our lives. It is fantastic to move abroad. It is great to, get better lifestyle for ourselves and our children. But it is also very important to ensure that the relationship is sustained. People come together to get married because they want to really do it most of the time. So we in Africa, especially, we pride marriage as much as we can. We don't really love to divorce each other. So as much as we love to stay together, we also need to navigate all our issues so that we don't get messed up over time. Thank you very much for listening to me today, and thank you for coming to my channel. Like I said, once again, please love and share my messages, and then I'm going to, it's going to encourage me to do more, because there are so many issues around the world that we're going to be discussing. Thank you. God bless you all. I appreciate you. My name is AA. Peace, love, and unity. Thank you.